Joe Pace, I think everyone knows him.
It was kind of special to have someone that's that iconic in this league and for a minor pro.
A bit electric and comical at times, you could say, but he was a good guy. I always knew that he had your back, and he would throw down if anything ever happened to you or any of the boys. So he's a good guy for sure.
He's a mixture of Jackie Moon and Reggie Dunlop. Reggie Dunlop was a guy that always, told guys to go out there and stick them and hurt the other team. And then Jackie Moon is a guy that just was out there to sell the team and promote the team the best that he possibly could. So I mean, that's probably the best way to describe Joe Pace.
He is an excellent promoter. I'd say you could give Jackie Moon a run for his money. He promotes like no one else. Like I said, he's a great show. He entertains the crowd. He engages with the fans. He's hated everywhere he visits, and every team he's ever played for, they love him at home.
Circus leader.
Very, very crazy, like erratic when he's on the ice.
Joe is a class clown kind of guy. He's always making jokes, and he likes to have fun in life. He's also very serious at times. That needs to be serious. He can get a little over the edge sometimes, and he has a little switch that he can turn on. But normally, he's always laughing and making jokes.
Go back all the way to the beginning. How'd you become a Prowler?
I had just finished. We were in the finals, Danville Dashers versus Watertown Wolves. It was the finals of 2015, and we had just lost in Game 5. I was walking out of the rink, and Barry tapped me on the back, and he said, "Hey, great season." And he just said, "I talked to your wife." He goes, "Look forward to chatting with you, but get ready to pack. You're going to Port Huron." And I was like, you're like ready to cry. You just lost in the finals. You're like, man, I was so close. But then I knew I was packing my bags to go do something even more special. So I remember our first press conference when we pulled down the black curtain and revealed the logo and the name. We probably had just over 100 people down in the basement of the theater. And it was a fun little press conference. But, that kind of set the tone. People were there. People wouldn't show up to press conferences in Danville. There'd be 2-3 people there. Here, there's 110 people there. You're like, wow, like this is awesome. But yeah, that first year we came in here with a good core group of guys. They had all played on Dane together, won a championship there, and I got to do that with them. And when we came here, we knew what we wanted. We just wanted to celebrate. We wanted to break the curse. We wanted to do all this stuff. So, people had told us it was like 45 years or something since their last championship. Felt like we were the Chicago Cubs. So it was awesome. Yep, I'm literally looking at the banner right now, just thinking about all the fun memories.
My favorite Joe Pace story is probably when he played the entire game a couple times on road trips when we were really short defensemen. And the only time he came off was to serve penalties. If it wouldn't have been for that, he would have played the entire 60 minutes of the game. But I think he ended up getting like 54 in or something like that. So
be getting kicked out of Carolina and everyone booing him and giving the Hulk Hogan ear, and then the crowd going absolutely wild.
My favorite Joe Pace story would be the first time I ever played against him. Obviously, like, everybody talks about him, and they're like, this crazy guy in Port Huron, he's a minor hockey league legend. And I'm like, okay, like, what do I expect? And he's like, you got to watch out. Like, don't go in this guy's corner. So first time I go in front of the net against him, slashes my stick out of my hands, looks at me straight in the eyes, stomps right on my stick, breaks it right in half. I pick it up, look at the referee, and the referee just goes.
My very first day, I got signed as a free agent by Port Huron. This was years ago. And I was backing up that game. After the second period, we're losing, and they had just scored at the end of the period. And Joe Pace, the coach, was yelling at Joe Pace, the player, pointing and saying, "You got to be better, Joe." Like, unlike anything I've ever seen before. So I thought that was pretty funny. Another thing, this was, I believe, the following year. We had just swept a weekend in Danville. Everyone was pretty excited. There was talk around the league, like chitter chatter that, guys don't, like, they think they're better than us, or they what's the word? They think they're like like basically the Port Hurons like not up to par to where they are in the league. And Joe said that that's BS. We're going to go to Danville. We're going to sweep this team right before Christmas break. We're going to go in the break with a sweep. Sure enough, we did. We pulled out 2 1-goal games. We're on a huge winning streak at the time. Everyone was pumped. So we're on the bus, and guys are getting settled in. We're about to leave. He takes a big gulp of water and takes a big deep breath, and he just looks around at everyone. Everyone wants to be like us. And I just start dying laughing. I'd never seen a coach do that before. I mean, we were all dying, so it was great. He is the most memorable guy I've ever played with in hockey, so I'll never forget Joe Pace.
Favorite Joe Pace story has to be the night that he got smuggled over the border to go play in Cornwall, or the little reserve between Cornwall and the U.S. I don't know what happened, but he had to get smuggled over, and
I can't tell it as good as he can, but his speedboat story going across I don't even know what river it is, but going into Akwesasne.
Oh yeah, so I don't even know if I'm allowed to tell it. It's like, I don't know the statute of limitations, but there used to be a team in Akwesasne. And that's Akwesasne Island is a Indian reserve in between Messina, New York, and Cornwall, Ontario. And the island sits there. Well, the Border Patrol, the Canadian side, used to be out on the island. Well, they got forced off the island, so it was kind of free reign. So you could get from the U.S. onto the island, no problem, but you couldn't get from the island back into the U.S., no problem. You had to go through customs. So one night I didn't have my passport. We were playing over there, and equipment manager from the home team, Akwesasne, just drove me to the game, dropped me off. He went and checked in Canada, because you'd have to go all the way up and then back. And he went and did that. We played the game, and afterwards I was like, how do I get back in the U.S.? I still don't have a passport. And they were just like, well, wait here. And after waiting around a few hours, they found me a ride. But yeah, it was by water. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, somehow I made it home.
Or maybe here reminiscing in his favorite spot where you get undressed, throwing his gear everywhere, have a mountain of gear in front of him every day, and make someone else pick it up for him.
Okay, well, I sat many places around here. I sat right here, I sat right here, and I sat right here. I didn't really move far, and I didn't let anyone else sit next to me. So it's nice to see these guys are sharing this. First time I ever played here as a pro, I'm down here with the Rockford Ice Hogs, and up there is the Port Huron Beacons. So we had all our equipment stuff out here, and we're doing stuff, and those guys are walking above you, and then you're afraid, you're like, oh, if you start yapping back and forth, are they just going to splash coffee down on you? Like, oh my gosh. Then I see 2 guys come down the stairs, and they dip towards the back door. I'm like, oh, what the heck? I walk this way. It's Gretzky's little brother, Brent Gretzky, and this guy, Jason Firth. They're hiding over there by the back door smoking cigarettes. That's what kind of league it was back then.
Was that the league?
The United Hockey League. Yep. So you would see both of them standing here like this. They'd stand here like this at intermission, smoke cigarettes. Then years later, my dad coaches the team, and he's standing here at intermission smoking cigarettes. I can't get away from these guys. Doing so much stuff with my son and my family here, watching almost every one of my kids had their first game here. We moved here when Will was he was a year and a half, so he was still a baby when we came here. So it was awesome. We raised our family here, but I played for the Port Huron Prowlers, and my dad was my head coach. I was his player assistant. I thought we fought like crazy and yell at each other like crazy Italians, but it was a very unique setup, and probably not a lot of people have ever experienced that. I would say win the championship, just watching my kids get raised around the team, and then being able to work with my family and my dad like that at the professional level. So, but yeah, the memories are endless from that run in 18 when we lost again in the finals to Watertown. That was a fun season. Great group of guys. Everywhere we went, we were just yelling, screaming, trying to lay the roof off every building. It was, we tried to bring soccer to hockey. We wanted chanting and craziness that year. So that was a really fun year, and that was the first year I was ever with Matt Graham. So that's a memorable year because that was my introduction to Matty Graham Cracker there. When Matt took over as player head coach and Alex was his player assistant that first season, they were leading the league in penalty minutes. So I know everyone just thinks it's me, but you saw firsthand, once they were put under the pressure of running the team by themselves, you get a little more just aggression. You want to take that aggression from the office work that you can't get out. You just put it out there on the ice. So it was fun to see him, he kind of exploded right there his first season. He got it under control. But
I guess I took this from him when he was the coach. He'd always be like, I'm just going to turn my phone off, change my number, because I now understand all the questions he gets asked. It's not the most fun to be asked all those questions, so I understand how he is hard to get a hold of sometimes.
Yeah, I think Joe and I had a really good working relationship. He handled most of the sales aspects of everything while he was here. I helped him out with player recruitment. I did some things. We complemented each other really well, I'd say. So we worked together really well.
It's nice to know that, we know that someone's here taking care of this, because the Prowlers do, they mean a lot to us. There's still Prowlers gear in our house or little things around. So I think there's still one magnet out in the garage on the utility box.